Well, the Garrity Perception Survey has revealed what New Mexicans like and what they dislike.
That's right. The survey polled 400 adults across the state to find out how we feel about industries and institutions and people and professions.
And here to break it down for us is Tom Garrity himself, president of the Garrity Group and creator of the Garrity Perception Survey. Welcome.
Good
Well,
morning.
thank you very much. Good morning. Great
Well,
to
we
be
were
here.
just saying, you know, we looked at the survey and we thought, well, what better way to talk about it than with Tom himself? So I want to first mention something that you actually partnered with Brian Sanderoff, right?
We did.
So I want you to people to know that he's the president of research and polling. To conduct that survey, you needed to do that sort of together in conjunction with each other. So how did you use this survey as a tool to understand what we are thinking?
Well, you know, for us, what we do is, with our firm, is we shape perception. So it's very important for us to know what the perception is of New Mexico residents of a variety of different industries. So we figured, why not work with the number one pollster in New Mexico with Brian Sanderoff.
Exactly.
And so we surveyed 17 different industries, 15 different professions.
Wow.
And then we also identified how people access news and information as well.
See, I thought that was super interesting because we present news. I was curious about that too.
Yeah, and you know that is the most one of the more intriguing parts for me is that, you know, obviously television is the number one source, but when you combine internet, social media, and blogs, it surpasses television. But what's interesting is that people don't trust what they watch or what they see on the internet. So, you know, it's a big kind of dichotomy there.
I noticed that, but you know, on the internet, I mean, it's kind of understandable because sometimes, I mean, there's so many different sources coming at you on the internet, and then it seems like, especially with Twitter, things get tweeted out trying to be the first, and then they're having to, you know, bring them back, the comments, because they found out, well, they're not so accurate. You
Well,
know?
and it's interesting. We found that, you know, the younger audiences have a higher trust because I think that there's a higher discernment in what is fact and fiction as opposed to older audiences who really still trying to get their arms around what the social internet is all about.
Well, I'm curious, what did you find that we favor the most in general?
Well, you know, in general, when it comes to industries, we favor small business, we favor the labs, and we favor the farm and ranch industry.
Nice.
On the other side of the spectrum, it's public schools, the oil and gas industry, and national banks.
Okay.
So, you know, we really have the two ends of the spectrum there.
Wow.
When it comes to, you know, different people in profession, family and relatives are the most trusted group. You know, of course, blood is thicker than water.
I'm glad that
isn't it?
still
You know?
stands true, though. I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely. And then, you know, when we look at the other side of that spectrum, you know, we look at state and local government at the bare minimum. You know, in fact, the level of distrust amongst state and federal government has really skyrocketed about 15% over the last 3 years.
Wow.
That's not good.
That's a little frightening.
Now, are there any surprises when it
You
comes to
know,
the survey?
a couple of surprises. One was in the eastern part of the state, we saw that religion, organized religion, the trust in it and stuff, actually dropped 29% over the 3-year period. Another aspect is coming right off the heels of the tax-free weekend, right? We surveyed how people purchase products in New Mexico.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so what we found is that, you know, 45% of New Mexico residents love to buy from local vendors. However, when we asked people what they thought a local vendor was, 17 of the top 20 was a national brand chain.
No way.
So, you know, there's still a lot of work for small businesses here in the state to kind of get their name out.
Well, this has to help you so much. Like you said, you're in the business of understanding people's perceptions, and now you know why, and you can shape those perceptions based on this information, which is so helpful.
Yeah, and we like to share parts of the research and stuff, which is one reason we make the perception survey available. People can just go to our website, garritypr.com, click on Perception Survey, and just fill out the form, and we'll send it to you. No strings attached.
Fantastic. And so they'll get the whole list so they can see all the likes and dislikes for themselves.
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
Great. Tom, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
You bet. It's a pleasure.
I guess you'll be back by Balloon Fiesta.
Yeah, we will.